Hello and welcome to The Real News, your weekly broadcast where we discuss current events and politics, the failure of our government to manage our money, our economy, our foreign policy, and apparently our health and well-being. Of course, the big story this week is the flu pandemic. We will be joined by Dr. Carley in 10 minutes to discuss this further. To begin, I had predicted we would see a flu pandemic that defied logic. We have a very strange flu on our hands. It attacks the strong and the young, not the weak and the old. It is a combination of bird, pig, and human flu never seen before. And to top it off, an investigation into missing flu began earlier last week at Fort Detrick's weapon lab, according to the Frederick County, Maryland daily newspaper. We now know the government will not close the border with Mexico, even under the threat of worldwide deadly flu pandemic. It has spread to 11 countries and 19 states, and the government has commissioned, of all companies, Baxter Pharmaceuticals to manufacture the vaccine. This is the same company that just weeks ago sent flu vaccines out to 18 countries contaminated with H5N1, the deadly avian flu virus. So we witness to some very disturbing situations here in America. Why is there no discussion of this is terrorist related? Everything else is immediately blamed on the Taliban or Osama bin Laden. Why not this time? If they would have us believe that they were responsible for the deadly anthrax attacks in 2001 that turned out to come from Fort Detrick's, Maryland, why is there no mere mention that this is from the terrorists that are so elusive and well-funded that we can't defeat them even after 6 years in Iraq and 8 years in Afghanistan of occupation? Well, I guess that wasn't inserted into the script for the mainstream puppet press. So we will discuss all these issues shortly with Dr. Carley. And with the death totals as low as they have been and the cases being as mild as they are in America, there has been a tremendous amount of hype by the press, practically scaring everyone that mass death is imminent. Why was it first reported over 150 dead, and now it's down to 12 dead in some reports? Why so much misinformation? We will discuss all this with Dr. Carley after the first break. And I wanted to begin with, this is from the Frederick County, Maryland daily newspaper dated April 22nd, 2009. And of course, none of this went out on the mainstream press as usual. And I'm going to read verbatim. Army criminal investigators are looking into the possibility that disease samples are missing from the biolabs at Fort Detrick. As first reported in today's edition of the Frederick News Post by columnist Catherine Hairbrandt, the investigators are from the U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Division unit at Fort Meade. Chad Jones, spokesman for Fort Meade, said CID is investigating the possibility of missing virus samples from the U.S. Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Diseases. He said the only other detail he could provide is that the investigation is ongoing. Fort Detrick does not have its own CID office, Jones said, which is why Fort Meade CID was brought in. Jones said he could not comment on when the investigation started. CID is responsible for investigating crimes where the Army is or may be a party of interest, according to the U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Command website. USAMRIID is the Army's top biodefense lab where researchers study pathogens including Ebola, anthrax, and the plague. In February, it halted all its research into these and other diseases known as Select's agents following the discovery of virus samples that weren't listed in its inventory. The Institute's commander, Colonel John Shrokovac, ordered research halted while workers conduct a complete inventory of the Institute's select agents. Are you listening here? We're reporting that our weapon labs are missing select diseases or carrying on an investigation to see what has happened to these objects. And why is our mainstream press not reporting this? And this comes out mere days before a very strange flu shows up in Mexico with reports of up to 150 dead. I seen some up to 181, Brian. Then down today, I see one report with 12 deaths. Now, we're talking Mexico. We know we've got one death in the United States. All deaths have been of Mexicans. And here in America, it's been very mild cases, but we're at level 5. So, I mean, it looks like a lot of disinformation. We don't know exactly what to think. What's your opinion on it?
That's level 5 out of 6 possible levels, and from what I understand, we're very close to going to level 6.
Yes, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to tell you what I think, because here on this show, if you've listened to Weekly, I have stated that I thought we would see a bird flu or swine flu, some kind of flu pandemic, because we've had so much, the government has stressed this so much, and we've got a lot to report on this after Dr. Carly is on as far as inoculation centers, vaccines, but I think this thing's going to rescind. Then we're not even in flu season. Let's all keep that in mind. Come this fall, it's going to come back with a vengeance like it did in 1918. The government's going to say, oh, well, no problem. We've had plenty of time. Baxter Pharmaceuticals, they'll be on Hypocrite of the Week. They have the vaccine. Everyone show up down at your health department for the vaccine, and it'll be like 1976. It'll kill more people than the swine flu that broke out then did. And so I do not trust the government, their vaccine procedures, not at all. So we will be talking about this with Dr. Carly here shortly. But we got a few minutes before we go to break, Brian. What's your thoughts on it? Go ahead.
The same Baxter, of course, that was just found putting live avian flu into vaccines.
And that went totally unreported. Now, when I say unreported, I'm talking about the mainstream press here in America. Russia reported it. Press TV reported it. Czechoslovakian newspapers reported it. Really, the rest of the world was aware of what was going on, and we've got a report on that, and some of it was reported slightly in the Chicago Tribune, but the story goes, U.S.-based pharmaceutical company that just weeks ago was involved in a scandal involving vaccines tainted with deadly avian flu virus has been chosen to head up efforts to produce a vaccine for Mexican swine flu that has seemingly migrated into U.S. and Europe. Baxter confirmed over the weekend that it is working with the World Health Organization on a potential vaccine to curb the deadly swine flu virus that is blamed for scores of deaths in Mexico and has emerged as a threat in the U.S., reports the Chicago Tribune. Baxter has previously worked with governments all over the globe to develop and produce vaccines to protect against infectious diseases or potential threats from bioterrorism. After 9/11, Baxter helped supply stockpiles of a smallpox vaccine, and in 2003, the company was contracted to develop a vaccine to combat the SARS virus. In 2006, the UK government announced plans designed to inoculate every person in the country with Baxter vaccines.
And this is just unbelievable, not reported in mainstream media practically at all. We're given the same company that was putting live avian flu into vaccines. We're contracting with them to come up with another vaccine here for the swine flu. And if you're like me, folks, you're probably not going to be too enthusiastic about getting that.
Okay, we are waiting on Dr. Carly to call. That was her on my cell. So again, as reported by multiple sources last month, including the Times of India, vaccines contaminated with deadly live H5N1 avian flu virus were distributed to 18 countries last December by a lab at the Australian branch of Baxter Pharmaceuticals, and it was only by providence that the batch was first tested on ferrets in the Czech Republic before being shipped out for injection into humans. The ferrets all died, and the shocking discovery was made. Czech newspapers immediately questioned whether the event was part of a conspiracy to deliberately provoke a pandemic, following up on accusations already made by the health officials in other countries. Initially, Baxter attempted to stonewall questions by invoking trade secrets and refused to reveal how the vaccines were contaminated with H5N1. After increased pressure, they then claimed the pure H5N1 batches were sent out by accident, which we know is completely impossible to do. And Brian, your thoughts here? It's like putting the fox in charge of the hen house. Baxter Pharmaceuticals.
Well, the question I have for you is, why would they even have these vaccines at all with this stuff in it, ready to go out?
Yeah, I mean, I know.
Who are they going to give them to?
Who wants that?
Yeah.
Well,